Okay, it's time to create the ultimate logsec template. Now, I've been thinking about this for a really long time. I've been working on how to create a structure that could kind of mimic some of the things that I liked about OneNote. However, using sort of the methodologies and some of the ideas around logsec. And so that's what this video is about. Now, if you haven't watched the previous videos, I have 2 other videos that are very specific on this topic. Those are sort of prerequisite to this video. So I'm using this concept called C.O.R.E. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back and watch the previous videos and then come back and watch this one. However, I will give you sort of a quick high-level overview of what is it that I'm talking about, so that at least you understand sort of like the general concept, and then we can move forward with this video. All right, so what is C.O.R.E? C.O.R.E is my methodology for creating and helping you to organize your files, and what it stands for, C.O.R.E. C.O.R.E stands for, C stands for companies. So see, all your company folders will be inside here. Each company gets its own folder. O stands for obligations. Under obligations, there's 3 types of obligations. There's people obligations. Sorry, there's personal obligations. Then there's people obligations. And then there's family obligations. Okay. R stands for resources. So think of this as your idea folder where you brainstorm ideas. You got planning, any sort of audio notes, any kind of stuff like that. And E is the E in records. So that stands for basically archive information. Okay, so this is my folder structure that I've been coming up with and working on to help me organize files. The question is, how do you take this folder structure and then put it into a note-taking app that will allow you to kind of mimic the same principles, right? And that's basically what I'm trying to accomplish, and that's what this video is about, giving you sort of the foundation so that you can use logsec as your once and for all, like the final note-taking app. However, you can use these core principles in order to set up a structure that would scale, right? All right, so hopefully that makes some sense. If not, go back and watch the previous videos. You're going to get a lot more context on exactly what is it that we're talking about and how some of the problems. But just to give some additional thing, so what I'm basically doing is replacing this entire craziness of folder structure, which I've kind of developed over the years, organizing it by years, etc., moving it into this new folder structure that I'm creating. Is called C.O.R.E, as we just talked about. Under C.O.R.E, I have 4 folders. Companies is one of them. Under companies, I have multiple companies. If I were to open up any one of these companies, for example, this is a brand new company that I'm creating. I have planning folder, sales folder. So any documents that's related to sales is just going to go under sales. Underneath sales, I have some subfolder, clients, contract, leads, etc. And so that's basically where those files are going to go. Under planning, exact same thing. So any documents that has to go there. So this will take care of all your document organization, right, for each one of the companies. If you're not using a company, this could be a university, for example, right? And if you're a school or something like that, right? So you can replace company with university. Under obligations, right, I have family, personal, etc. So under personal, for example, I have employment information, family information, finance information, health, identity, all that type of stuff, right? So the goal is that this gives you sort of a foundation so that you can kind of organize things, keep them in organized. Resources has to do with, like I said, planning. Okay, so now the question is, how do you, resources have to do with ideas. So now the question is, how do you use this to organize your notes? What do you do with the folder structure to ensure that your notes is things? So what I decided to do, instead of keeping the same structure for keeping track of let me just think about this for a second. So basically, instead of dumping my notes in the same structure as my documents, what I've decided to do is to create a new folder called C.O.R.E Notes, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that in this video. So I have a script here, every single thing that I'm showing you here is going to be on my GitHub. If you go to my GitHub and you go to Dwayne Browne, so github.com/dwainbrowne/core, that's C.O.R.E, you're going to find this file here, and you will also find this file that says logset generate template. Okay, that's what we're going to run right now. And so when we run this file, it's going to create a new folder called core notes, and that's what we're going to use for our thing. So I'm going to Python, it's a Python script. I just got to write that folder there, and then it's going to do this, add that folder called core notes. There we go. Okay, so what is core notes? Core notes is basically an extension of core, and under that it has the exact same structure. However, it's focused on setting up the template for notes, for your logsec notes. Okay, so if I open this up, I have the same set of companies. If I open this up, for example, which is what I had before, instead of folders, I now have pages. These pages are going to be the foundation for me to keep track of my notes in logsec. So now let's go open up one logsec, and we're just going to go open up that same structure so you can see what I mean. So I have a brand new logsec. Again, I'm starting from scratch here, so I'm showing you how to set this up properly so that you can take it. Says welcome to logsec, right? So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to click on add a new graph, and like I said, I'm going to go to core notes. I'm going to open up companies, and I'm going to go in. I'll start from this one. Actually, let's just start from the top. So I'm going to open up this folder, click that. When I open up that folder, it does two things immediately. One is it creates favorites, which is something that I learned how to set up. So the favorites are basically the pages. These are just the pages, right? But I wanted it to show up on the side panel so that in the event that I'm planning something, so let's say I'm planning, I could do angle brackets, I'm planning, right? And then I could say starting a new, something like that, right? And that will honestly, if I click back in here now, I could see that under my planning folder. So this is using the exact same structure as the core methodology so that you have some foundation to start with. So that you know that if you're typing something random here and it needs to go under something, you just need to think about what exactly, let's say we're having a discussion about sales. I could just type sales right off the top and just come in here and start typing about my projections for Q2, right? Something like that. So I could go right away and then I have that thing. So that's the reason why I made sure that it shows up on the side panel here, so you can just quickly jump to each one of them. You could add, obviously here you could just add additional details, and or as you're doing your journal you could just add those details and you have this as a reference point. Then we have the daily agenda. So this daily agenda shows up as a template. What I'm going to do now is going to right click on this daily agenda, okay, and it's called daily agenda here. So what we should do is we should mark this as, so at least it's, okay, I guess I can't do that. So we're going to highlight this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to do make template, and we're going to call it daily agenda. I'm going to say DU. Then I'm going to submit it, and then I could come in here and I could click on settings and I could click on config, and then I could go to, oops, I don't have all the other sections. Okay, you know what, we're gonna have to get back to that because I'm automatically generating this favorite section and I think it deleted a bunch of other stuff. So I'm gonna get that fixed. So we'll ignore that conversation for now. So, okay, so now that I have that, let me just add the other directory so you could see the structure of the thing. So, Dwayne Browne, so that's my second company. Click on add new graph. And again, they all have the exact same structure. That's the most important thing here, right? So as I jump from company to company, I'm not like one company has one structure, another company has a different structure. They all have the exact same structure, which has been sort of like my personal sort of fight with this entire process. How do I standardize so I have consistency across multiple different companies that I'm working with? Okay, so now that we have the companies in, I'm going to add the obligations folder. And obligations, again, I got different obligations, right? So let's go with personal first. So here I click on personal, and then look what it does. Health, right? So all the pages related to health and all that stuff is under the side here. Add new graph, and then we're gonna go to family. Again, it's just really adding some pages so you could get an idea of what you need to do. Obviously you'd have to add some more details there, but you just get the idea. So you have a structure, foundation, and then the last one is people. And people are like friends, right? Friends, one, colleague, acquaintances, etc., where you want to keep notes on them accordingly, right? And then go to the third one, which is, so in this particular case I got books, right? Fiction and non-fiction, right? So that's basically it. Now I could add some more, but you get the idea. The point is that this gives you some foundation you can think. So now I know that if I'm working with a company, I could just jump down here and you can say, okay, I'm working with PhD, or I come down here and I can say I'm working with Dwayne on Finish, and I could just drop my ideas there and then things. So hopefully this has given you some idea on how to set up a structure. I'm going to push this file up right this minute, so at least you have this. So improve. Oops. Right. And then, so now you can go to my GitHub. You can refresh that. Like I said, Dwayne on Finish C.O.R.E. I'm going to put the description in the chat, but if not, if I forget to do it for whatever reason, you could just go dwainbrowne/C.O.R.E. That's C.O.R.E. And then you have these two files. If you just run them, the only thing you'd have to do on the folder structure is the folder structure. You just need to set up your own, the names of your company, and you need to point it to your directory where you want to set that folder up. And the same thing on this one here for the logsec folder structure. You just need to be able to set the directory that you want to basically set that folder structure up. So in my particular case, I pointed it both to this location here, _new. So I have core and core notes. And that's how I'm able to set up a structure that makes sense. So hopefully you've gotten some value from this video. Please subscribe, like the channel, like the video if you got some value. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos on this logsec, trying to organize and find proper ultimate note-taking process in order to help you streamline your brain. All right. Have yourself a wonderful day, guys. Thanks.